The norovirus, a particularly fierce and highly contagious stomach virus that hits about 20 million Americans each year, is striking hard this month, forcing school closings around the country. Joining us to discuss is WSJ reporter Sumathi Reddy and Christine Moe, professor of safe water and sanitation at Emory University. Welcome, ladies. Sumathi, let me start with you. The norovirus makes its rounds every year, right? And so far, there's no indication that this year is worse than past years. Is that right?
Yeah, so the CDC is saying it always peaks in the winter, and we're seeing that typical sort of spike right now. There is a little bit of a lag in their data, so it's current up to like January 2nd. So
right.
The past few weeks, it seems like it's gotten really bad, so we'll wait to see.
And in your reporting, you did find entire schools that have closed because of the virus.
Yeah, so
right?
There's a huge high school near Chicago, which has 2,500 kids, and 800 called in sick a couple weeks ago.
Oh, my.
So they closed down for 2 days. An elementary school in Rhode Island closed down, another one in Indiana. So we're seeing...
And you mentioned that one school where both school nurses caught the virus, and the principal just said, okay, that's it, we're closing, right?
Yeah, well, they couldn't find a backup, and
right.
One nurse got it, and the other one's kid got it. So.
Oh, my goodness. Professor Moe, thank you for joining us. Why is the norovirus so contagious? Is the amount you need to be exposed to so tiny?
So it has been called the perfect pathogen, and it's a combination of things. First, as you said, the amount that you need to be exposed to in order to become infected is really small. In fact, it's the most infectious pathogen germ that we are aware of.
Oh.
Also,
and on top of it, Professor, are there also several different strains of this virus?
There are many strains, so you may develop immunity to one strain, but then be susceptible and become sick from another strain.
And how is it most often spread?
So norovirus can be spread by multiple ways, which is part of its success. It can be spread person to person from contaminated hands, so fecal contamination on hands, also from contamination in the environment. If somebody vomits in the school, then you can have droplets of the virus spread throughout the classroom. And it can also be spread through contaminated food.
Oh, my goodness. So, Sumathi, this is not to be confused with the flu, correct? Which also goes around this time of year.
Exactly. So it's not influenza. A lot of people call it the stomach flu, but it's not. It's a completely different virus. And the symptoms can include fever, muscle aches, headaches, so that's why sometimes people
get confused. But it has the stomach element, or the vomiting element.
Yes.
That is
so
not.
Usually the main symptom is vomiting or some sort of stomach upset.
And as Professor Moe just said, if you catch it once, that doesn't mean you're immune to it.
No. Now there is some short-term some immune response, so that if you get one strain, if you're exposed to the same strain again, there's a certain number of years where maybe you won't, get sick again.
Right, so short term. Now, Professor Moe, the norovirus seems to move swiftly. What is the typical incubation period?
So from the time that you get exposed, you could start developing symptoms in about 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
So rapid onset of symptoms.
And how long do symptoms last? And then how long are you contagious?
Well, the good news is that you may feel really miserable, but it doesn't last very long. So usually the symptoms last for 1 to 3 days, but you can be contagious for several weeks afterwards. And that's the tricky part, because you can feel fine, but you could still pass the infection on to others.
No wonder kids pass it on to each other so easily. Now, Sumathi, you reported that scientists did make a big breakthrough last year in researching the norovirus. How close are they to finding a vaccine?
So actually, there's been vaccine work going on for a while, and Takeda Pharmaceuticals is doing a clinical trial right now. They're recruiting people with the Navy, with the Army, I think. And another development is that researchers at Baylor College were able to grow the actual a human cell.
Right.
And that's going to help hopefully develop better products and things.
And that could actually even help with cleaning products, right?
Exactly.
That could better target this virus.
Test.
Really quickly, Professor Moe, are the tips to protecting ourselves what we all already know? Wash your hands and just practice hygiene?
So I think the very best thing you can do to protect yourself is wash your hands, and washing your hands with soap and water, washing your hands carefully. Also, if you have been sick, trying not to get involved in any food handling so you don't pass the infection on to others. Also, healthcare workers need to be particularly vigilant so that they don't pass the infection on to others.
All right. Thank you both, Sumathi Reddy and Professor Christine Moe.